what you're going to be doing in this module, and then just a few reminders as we close up the semester. So this week, you're really going to be focusing in on reading comprehension, and you are going to be looking at knowledge building curriculum. So right now in schools, we really are teaching structured literacy through programs like Foundations, and we are using a knowledge building core reading curriculum, something like Wit and Wisdom. Both Foundations and Wit and Wisdom are published by great minds, and they are really at the forefront of this type of instruction right now in curricular materials, which is why I'm really having you take a look at their website and those materials. However, we have this gap that exists between the two. And that's a question that I want you to think about as you move into the classroom or if you're already in the classroom. What are we doing to bridge the gap between reading at the word level and oral reading fluency and understanding rich content and high-level vocabulary? How are we getting that into our students' hands and allowing them to practice those skills? In the past, how we did that was through a method called guided reading. I know through Emily Hanford's podcast, you heard over and over again that guided reading is not a good practice. Here is where you're going to get a Jen opinion. Jen's opinion is Emily Hanford is wrong about that. I believe strongly in structured literacy. I do think that it helps our young and emergent readers with phonemic awareness, phonological processing, decoding, and oral reading fluency. That part of Scarsborough wrote. I do believe that our knowledge building curriculums are increasing their vocabulary, exposing them to content where they can learn about cultures, learn about new environments that they didn't know about before. They're able to see themselves in a mirror, or they're able to look through a window of something that they did not know before. The vocabulary is increasing every day. They're using words that we had not expected from students in the past. However, many schools, including my own, do not have a way for students to practice that with guidance from a teacher. So, as you listen to Emily Hanford, and even if you go back and you think about her conversations about Fontes and Pinnell, I happen to disagree with her on Fontes and Pinnell. I do believe that their research is important. I do believe their research is relevant. And I do believe having a time during the day where we have structured small group reading on a student's instructional level, remember that zone of proximal development, I do believe it's important. I didn't want to give you this public service announcement until the end of the course because I want you to keep your thoughts open. I'm not saying mine are correct or what you should believe. I'm just letting you know what I believe. I read a lot of research. I also practice what I preach. And I know that my young students who are participating in a structured literacy curriculum and a knowledge building with no bridge in between are really struggling. We have a new reading crisis here in the United States. And our new reading crisis is our benchmark or our expectations of our students have now fallen. Most of our standardized tests like math, Ames-Webb, Dibbles have all been renormed to address the fact that students are not performing as well in reading as a totality here in the United States. So I want you to keep that in mind kind of as we close up the course and maybe rethink some of the things you heard in the podcast. Remember, Emily Hanford did do a lot of research, but some of it is opinion. And I want you to think about these tried and true researchers. And should we really be abandoning what they've said to us? Or can we find a way to integrate that into our school day and into our literacy blocks? So I'm just kind of charging you with thinking about that. Not that you need to think my way, but please consider what you think may be missing in your own curriculums or when you begin to teach. What is missing in order to make sure that our students are well-rounded readers, writers, and language processors. So for this week, you are going to look at comprehension in depth. You are going to take a look at one of our newer theorists, one of our newer, can't say researcher because she does not call herself a researcher, Natalie Wexler. And you may have taken a course where I chose Natalie Wexler's book as the main text, so she may seem familiar to you. However, for some of you, she may be brand new. I happen to really like what Natalie Wexler has to say about the reading disparity and the knowledge gap. However, I still don't think she addresses how we instruct students at their instructional level using appropriate materials for those students that are sitting in front of us. I also don't think that we have an instrument right now for assessment in many of our schools that shows us reading behaviors. Students are showing and being assessed on individual skills rather than the totality of what they're able to do as a reader. So please make sure that you take time to really explore the comprehension information, reading the chapters. The PowerPoints are there for you as a guide. Also listening to Natalie Wexler. You do have one of the final reflections, which is to pick a chapter from your main fundamental texts that you did not read as assigned through me. You can also do the appendices and forms and figures in the back if that's what you would like to choose. I did set a due date of the following week, but remember, everything for this course that you have outstanding is due by December 8th. My grading will go in December 11th, December 12th in the morning at the latest. After that, they shut off my grading and I can no longer grade you. I do grade as assignments come through, so please make sure to check your email in case I need access. The other thing that I want you to keep in mind is if you are not watching my videos, you probably need to. It's often where I announce open Zoom hours. I give clarification about assignments. So please make sure that you are clicking on those. And if you haven't done so already, you might want to go back and watch those just so that you have some context for what you've been learning. I will be sending out a sign up if you need to schedule a time with me individually to go over assignments or for help. What I want you to know is you do have a lot of leeway with me in this course, as this is the first time it's ever been run fully asynchronous. And I've had to take our assignments and I've had to change them. So if you are struggling with an assignment, please reach out. Also, please know that I'm pretty open on most assignments, especially the infographic one. I want you to experiment with the tool. I'm not looking for a right or wrong. I'm just looking, did you use the tool to the best of your ability? And were you able to create an infographic? Because they're really pretty cool and they're a great way to hook struggling readers. If you're struggling with the Lexile assignment, again, please let me know. Open Zoom hours will be this Tuesday because of Thanksgiving. I will be opening Zoom at 4:30. The waiting room will be on after a certain time. So if you have specific questions and you want to meet me during that time, you may want to wait in the waiting room. At 4:30, I will be going over an overview of what the rest of the semester will look like. Check your Canvas announcements for a sign up if you would like an individual time with me. I will be offering those out. But again, please do not struggle with an assignment. Reach out to me. So this week, really focus in on that comprehension. Think about that chapter that you haven't read in our fundamentals text and which one you would like it to be. And really, really take into account everything that you've learned right now about the current research of the science of reading. And think about what you agree with, what you disagree with, and what you really need more information about. Module 8 will also be up, and Module 8 will not contain anything other than your final soul to story reflection. Anything that is outstanding is due to me by December 8th. Do not panic if it comes in late. I am totally fine with that. Please reach out with questions. I hope you have some time off this week. I hope you get to do something that you love. and something that you're thankful for in your life. I know that I'm thankful for all of you, and I'm thankful to Arcadia for allowing me to learn right along with you. Until I see you, have a good one.